What is up, everybody, and welcome to The List, where I do a film study deep dive on what's going on with the Denver Nuggets. This is for Game 3, where the Denver Nuggets got beat in transition, and they really found a new wrinkle, the Phoenix Suns did, in Jock Landale. And one of the things that he does to the Denver Nuggets second unit that puts pressure on them and takes advantage of one of their core weaknesses, and it's something Denver's going to have to adjust to. So we're going to break all of that down. But we're going to start with one of the first counters that the Denver Nuggets made, which was in Game 2. You had the Suns denying everything with Jamal Murray, guarding him full court, but also denying the reversals, denying the entry passes, and just trying to keep the ball out of his hands. Denver did do some things to adjust. Let's take a look at the first clip.
All right, you'll see one counter Denver went to early. You're running this action. They've been denying Jamal Murray so hard. This ball usually reverses, and then you get into some action. So Denver's going right into, blind pig action where you get the release valve, which is Jokic flashing, and then try to catch backdoor here. And you can see Denver, this is one of the first plays of the game. Clearly a thing that they're going to do to adjust to try to punish the Suns for that level of denial. By the way, you might remember this action as Jokic's between the legs to Bruce Brown pass earlier in the season.
Another great adjustment that the Phoenix Suns made came in the offensive end of the floor, where Denver had been sending a double team on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, especially when those guys got an island against a switch or a weaker defender. Let's take a look at how they countered that.
So one, I think, good adjustment that Monty Williams and the Suns have made is they're going to make an empty corner over here. So they're going to put a strong overload. You're going to see 4 players on the weak side now for a KD ISO. And the reason isn't so that KD can go. Denver has been sending the double all series here, and then you get the ball out of your hands. If you have one player here, when the ball swings, you still have a help side. It's an easier recovery for the double. So what happens here is Denver's going to come, but because all of the overload is over here, the release now is all the way to the opposite corner, the farthest you have to go. And you're going to see here, Murray does a good job of playing in between. So when the swing comes, he actually doesn't have to run out here and then leave an empty corner. So he goes instead to play the middle and is able to get over and contest. But it's still a smart strategy of, hey, if Denver's going to double the way they are, we need to make the most possible space for the recovery for everybody. And they did a good job. And then not only that, but watch Jock Landale when the shot comes up. He's on that side. As soon as it starts to release, he comes over here in preparation for most shots from the corner go long. And even if it doesn't, you occupy the rebounder over. So Jeff Green now on the recovery needs to be thinking rebound or wall off the paint. So when the shot goes up, you see Jeff does not. You have a rebounder over here, and it goes to the Suns. Extra possession, and they draw a foul. They draw contact off of it.
One of the stories of this game in Game 3 was Jamal Murray being a little too aggressive. I think liking his matchup. In Game 1, he went at Landry Shamet and had one of his best playoff games, certainly his best playoff game probably of this run. So I think he got a little too eager attacking Landry Shamet in Game 3 and disrupted the offense. Some numbers here. He had 9.3 minutes of possession in Game 3. He's averaging 7.5, so almost 2 full minutes of possession with the ball's in his hands, more than the average just of this playoff run. 4.86 dribbles per touch is his average. He had 5.65, so about 1 dribble more per touch. Again, I think the ball stuck with him. Let's take a look.
This is sort of a quintessential Murray possession from Game 3. Walks the ball up the court. I mean, he crosses half court at 17 seconds, so we're already 7 seconds into the possession. Waits for the play to get set up because it's not set up yet. He really wanted Shamet. I think all he thinks about right here is this is the matchup I want. The problem is there's only 10 seconds left on the clock now. So you clear out, and he really wants Shamet. Now, Shamet's crowding him, and Murray, one of his weaknesses is when players crowd him like this, he doesn't have the quickness or craftiness at drawing fouls to punish him. So now the defender's getting into him, can't be screened by Jokic. He has to go back or get a rescreen. He's wasted all this. This is like probably 20 dribbles. By this point, 4 seconds left on the clock. He's in a double team. There's no other options to come off of this. Throws it off his own foot out of bounds. If you rewind this play and just watch the whole thing, I mean, you could count the dribbles here, but it is an enormous amount and just a bad process offensive possession. Yeah, now you got to get here and try to make something crazy. Nothing happens.
For me, the most interesting player in game 3 outside of Devin Booker, who was just absolutely phenomenal, a masterclass from him. But Jock Landale was inserted into the game in game 2 and made a positive impact. Suns come up just a little bit short. Denver didn't really adjust their rotation or anything, I think because they trusted they could win. In game 3, he played even more minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if that became the status quo with how ineffective DeAndre Ayton has been. And to be honest with you, how little the Phoenix Suns teammates seem to trust in DeAndre Ayton. They trust Jock Landale. It's apparent watching him, but they trust him for a reason. He made a positive impact on rebounding, which is a major weakness of the Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon front court. A front court that's been great in the playoffs so far, but they're not a great rebounding unit. I think the Suns found something in making Jock Landale put pressure on the paint, but in particular, pressure on the paint through offensive rebounding. Let's take a look.
I really like Jock Landale. You're going to see him here challenge a shot. It's out of bounds. And now watch the effort here. He's the deepest man on a rebound. Sprints, beats Jokic down the court. Jamal Murray's given so much cushion to Booker here, and he's going to give no resistance on the drive. But look at Jock. He's not running to rim run and post up. He's running to screen the help defender, and Booker times it perfectly. He sees him coming. All right, now go. No help side. Murray's sitting here thinking, where's my help side? Gives no resistance one-on-one, so he gets a free runway. But, again, Jock opens this up and makes a layup for Devin Booker. Bad defense by Murray and incredible effort on Jock Landale getting back, beating Jokic down and becoming a screener. It's a great example of why Jock Landale has been so valuable in this. You see, first of all, he's fighting for position. You could get the over-the-top pass here, but they say, no, let's not force it. So, all right. But the key is, before, Jeff Green could be almost primarily a help side guy. They're sending doubles. They're doing things. He can help scramble. What Jock is doing is he's putting rebound pressure or paint pressure on, which means it's harder to leave him. So you're going to see here, Jock knows, all right, ball goes and enters here. I'm going to get down to the dunker and behind the defense. Double team as Denver always does. You see Aaron Gordon. I would actually wait if I were Denver. I'd wait till he puts the ball on the floor. I might wait another second. You just want to make the shot clock get a little bit low later, and I don't know that he had to go right away. Kevin Durant was waiting for the double team. So you can see he gets it out quickly. But here's what's interesting. I don't mind Campaign taking a bunch of threes. He'll hit them sometimes. But what happens here is now where usually you would have an X out in a rotation, Jock Landale has made it so that this is a priority now. Shot goes up, and he's got Jeff Green in hell. All he can do is foul. And this happened over and over and over again, and it's why Denver going small, you have to punish him some way. They're punishing him the way a big man can, which is on the offensive glass. Another example of Jock being good. So in transition, Denver gets a rebound. You attack. In transition, up, Jock Landale's mixed up. He's on the point guard. But Murray a little bit maybe takes the bait here. I think you probably want Murray to go. But, again, let you off the hook. These guys all got to rest. Murray has to work hard. Jock Landale contests. And, by the way, I like Jock. Look at how he sticks with him. I mean, Murray can still hit that shot. He almost airballs it. But that's good defense for a big man. But here's the real killer. All right. Jock contests. Murray's back. Look at this effort. You turn what should be a favor. At this moment, you have a favorable matchup. And at this moment, a few seconds later, it's a dunk for Jock Landale.
Prior to the season, prior to the series, Michael Malone had mentioned they're going to get tough points. You saw that in game 3 with Kevin Durant getting to the foul line. You saw that with Devin Booker and some of the crazy shot making he had in game 3. Very impressive. But Denver could have still won this game if they would have taken care of the easy points. The offensive rebounding with Jock Landale, which I just talked about, but the transition points that Campaign provides, he did a very good job of getting out in transition in this one.
I thought Campaign did a very good job of getting out in transition and attacking when he saw lanes. Here he's got one. Denver jogging back. This is his game. He's good at the transition part. Another transition off of a make. Get it to Campaign. Murray kind of just jogging back. Cam sees it. Says test him. Gets to the rim. Another Campaign in transition. Sprinting, making Denver work. Here's an interesting fast break because part of reading floor balance early is just seeing where everything is. You've got 3 Suns defenders on one side and 3 Nuggets offensive players on one side. You probably notice Jokic in transition a lot when he's here. He reads this exact balance and he'll swing it, even if it's not to a guy more open than him, like Murray's open now. Porter and Gordon are open now. Jokic will swing it because he just sees like, hey, make them rotate. Maybe 2 guys rotate instead of 1. But right now you've got a great opportunity to swing it. KD is going to take here. Who's on Gordon? Nobody. The floor is not properly balanced. Instead, Murray kind of starts playing with the ball, and it turns into a turnover that goes the other direction. So one of those plays that's just an absolute killer. Murray hustles back and gets the block here. But one of those plays where if we stop it, look where Aaron Gordon finished the break. They were not balanced. Look at Aaron Gordon. They were not balanced. Denver should have had a fast break here, but Murray just, again, over-dribbled a little bit. All right, so let's compare that to Jokic here, who grabs a rebound, goes, and now he's got 2 and 2. The floor is evenly spaced. He gets it out of his hands quickly, and what's good about it is, look at where the floor was balanced. There was one guy on this side, so 2 Nuggets players. That's why you balance it. So what has to happen? One guy has to rotate hard, and now the floor's off balance this way. Bruce goes for a drive. Nuggets don't get anything out of this, but a little bit of draw foul. But look at this. This is how you do it. Get it out, bend the floor, and then try to make a play. Game plan discipline. Right now, Bruce Brown is on campaign. No communication. I don't know if Bruce doesn't realize it, if he thinks Jeff has him or what. But this is the fourth quarter. This is where you have to be the most locked in, and you just mess up the communication between Jeff and Bruce, 2 veterans, and give up a 3. This is when the game was most, 4-point game, fourth quarter. These are huge minutes to push it up to a 7-point game that quickly. I mean, we're not even 30 seconds into the quarter. It was just brutal.
I also thought the Phoenix Suns did a better job in this game of using Kevin Durant as a pick-and-roll player, and Kevin Durant in particular did a good job of attacking. He's been playing with the basketball, coming off of those screens, drawing the double team, and getting the ball out of his hands. I thought in this game he did a good job of attacking the basket and trying to draw fouls, and you even saw Jeff Green, who's done a good job of him, I think, in staggered minutes in this series. One of his weaknesses is guarding the pick-and-roll, especially on ball. You'll see that here.
The worst thing you can have happen in pick and roll is get beat rejecting the screen because there's no one there. Yoke's up at the level of the screen. There's nobody here to stop you. You give Kevin Durant full speed to the basket, scores every time. It's a killer from Jeff on that one. Another example, this time with KCP. You get beat right there. Nothing you can do. This is a flat screen by Jock, so it's a little disguised. Because which way is he setting the screen, left or right? But you have to assume you want to shade him towards the baseline. So if you let him get middle, especially with Jeff Green, these 2 are communicating. If you let him get to the other way, there's no one to stop him.
Lastly, if you've been paying attention to me for a while, over on the DNVR Nuggets podcast, which I highly recommend you catch right after every single game up on our YouTube channel, we go live, great panel, lots of perspectives, and just a good time breaking down the game. But one of the things we touch on is Michael Porter Jr., I think the Nuggets are going to regret not working him into the offense as more of a creator. He's essentially a floor spacer who has a dynamic shot and can get to the rim sometimes, but the team doesn't really run a lot for him. And I think Jamal Murray in particular does a poor job of getting him going and getting in the flow of the offense. I think he needs more touches. Now, he did some things good in this game when he did get the ball, 6 of 10 from 3, and he did some things defensively that I thought were impressive. He also had a couple mistakes himself that I think are a little costly.
Thought this was great defense by Michael Porter. You got an ISO on one side for Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon takes the hit, no call. Porter reads it, flies over, contests the shot. Great job of just recognizing and getting over. And what's the reward? A corner 3. And a timeout for the Suns. I'm all for the Nuggets looking to get Mike going and running the offense with him a little bit more, but plays like this are where he's really got to start to think the game a little bit better. So Jokic is calling it out for him to go, and that puts Murray and KCP on the weak side. Right here, Mike should be reading, okay, the paint's a little bit clogged. Am I able to get to the rim? If not, right here especially, you've done the job. Jock Landale's the only big in there. Pull it out. Yoke's now got Devin Booker on him. This is barbecue chicken. If you have a great shot, take it. If you don't force it here because you've already got a great backup option with, by the way, 18 seconds on the clock. That's a full possession. Murray doesn't even cross half court most of the time by 18 seconds. So right here, if you dribble it out, Jock Landale is probably cross-matched in some way. Instead, he goes to the basket, gets blocked by 2 players, and it kills the play. After the game, Malone praised Michael Porter's rebound, and we're going to watch him here in the corner. His guy just wants it more. Killer play. Fortunately, didn't cost him.
And lastly, I think the Denver Nuggets need to put more pressure on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, pick them up full court a little bit more, and maybe be strategic about who they use to do that. Christian Braun doesn't play a lot of minutes. I think he should use his minutes when he's on the court, exhausting Devin Booker the same way that the Phoenix Suns are trying to exhaust Jamal Murray. You got to pay him back. You got to get into him, turn him a few times. I think Jamal Murray, you see the effects. He looks tired in second half of every single game so far. In the playoffs, even in the first round, Nickeil Alexander-Walker doing the exact same strategy. In the second round, it's a variety of players that are picking him up full court. I think Denver can return the favor. Devin Booker is going to play 44-plus minutes every game in the series and probably every game in this playoffs because he has to. Allowing him to walk the ball up the court, I think, is a death sentence, or at least it's not taking advantage of the fact that you want him to tire out as the game goes on. I thought this was an easier game for Booker than it was for Murray based on the defensive strategy. So I think Denver can do a better job of picking those guys up full court, getting physical with them, and just making them work a little bit harder for their points physically. The shot making, they worked hard. Denver did a good job of contesting, but make them work more and just using energy so that in the third and fourth quarters, you start to tilt the odds in your favor and start to take advantage of it. I don't think Denver's done that so far in the series. They're going to need to do that, and they've got the guys to do it. Bruce Brown, Christian Braun, even KCP, if he's not going to be an offensive threat, just 4 field goal attempts in game 3. If you're not going to use him often on offense, then use his energy on the defensive end to try to wear out Devin Booker, because if you can hold Devin Booker to below 40 points, you have a great shot in this series. I mean, the Suns don't have a lot of options. They needed 39 and 46 points respectively from their superstars, and I think you have a better job of limiting those guys to merely 35-point games if you can just wear them out a little bit more and make it work bringing the ball to the court. That's it for this weekend's of the list. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys think you see from the Denver Nuggets, or what is it you'd like to see broken down, and what adjustments do you expect in Game 4?